Salam alaikum. Hello, this is Rob Thurner. I'm the Chief Exec of Burn the Sky, and I'm looking forward to sharing this perspective on AI, machine learning, and data science in banking for your event tomorrow. Just a quick introduction before we get going. So, I have spent a lot of my time traveling and working in the Middle East, in South Asia, Southeast Asia, including Pakistan. I've been blessed to spend some time with some fantastic clients in your lovely country. In addition to working with banks and telcos and running Burn the Sky, a digital transformation specialist, I'm the director for an experience management business based in Oman called New Metrics, a director for a digital product design company based in Japan, and a director with the London Institute of Banking and Finance. So a lot of my time is spent helping businesses with their transformation journeys, running executive education programs for partners like Google, the Cambridge Judge Business School, Columbia Business School, INSEAD, MIT, etc., around digital disruption and digital marketing and digital strategy. In addition, I've written 3 books on mobile. I love to connect with the people I meet on these programs, so please feel free to reach out on LinkedIn. We work with over 20 banks across the world, including a large number in your part of the world. I've done a lot of work with UBL, also Faisal Bank, HBL, and you can see some other logos there, both in the Middle East, QNB, Dubai Islamic Bank, and also UOB, Private Bank, and a number of other banks in Southeast Asia. So for today, we're going to be looking at 2 main areas. The first is around data, and the second is around automation, machine learning, and AI. So I'm just going to start off now with a perspective on data and some of the big challenges with big data. For most banks, and this data from Forrester calls this out quite clearly, there's a problem with delivering a seamless customer experience. Whether you're in the call center, you're in the branch, you're on the website, or you're using the app, there are often problems providing a smooth customer journey. And that's because for so many organizations, at the back end, their databases and the way that data is transferred from one part of the bank to the other is inconsistent. Now, for the customer, that's really not a good situation. They expect to have a smooth and personalized experience, one they've come to realize and expect is possible by their dealings with the likes of Amazon and Facebook and some of the other digital-first organizations. So the first point when we consider data is to realize that this is your most valuable resource today. In so many ways, and this article in The Economist calls this out quite clearly, data has become the new oil. There are some similarities. Indeed, when taken from source, data is rather hard to work with. It requires processing and refinement. But the fundamental difference is this is not a resource that's running out of supply, like oil. Indeed, data is growing in availability, and its availability is expanding exponentially. As ever more data is available, there are indeed oceans of data out there on which businesses can base their decision-making processes. But there are some problems. Just because you can access customer data, does that mean that you should be doing so? Many would argue that without a customer's explicit permission, you should not be simply using their data and hitting them with marketing messages. So we need to be clear we have permission to use data. And in some markets where I live in the UK, GDPR regulations insist that we have to have explicit permission. And I would argue for banks that's so important because you are a business essential to people's lives, but you're not one where you should expect your customers are always willing to be hit with messages from you in the same way that an entertainment brand could expect to be in that position. So the challenge for a lot of business is accessing this data and getting permission to use it, but more fundamentally, understanding what the data really tells them. Often there are divergent versions of real events. You may have differing data points with conflict with one another. There may be a duplication of tracked events. Often, if we have people who have set up more than one account with different names, we may think we've got two different customers. Actually, we've only got one customer. You may be talking to some of your partners and realize actually the volume of interactions and transactions that you're getting, clicks on ads and the like, don't quite add up. And the often situation for a lot of businesses, well, we can't quite figure this out, too much analysis paralysis, and we don't do anything. I would argue that this is not a position we want to be in. More, what we want to do is really understand what data we've got and then figure out how we can use it. This research from Cisco shows that a lot of organizations are sitting on a huge amount of data, but they're not doing what they could do with it. In this poll, 95% of businesses agree that they've got huge amounts of data that remains untapped. 39% of marketers feel the data is collected too infrequently or not real time. 39% also believe that they can't turn their data into actionable insights. And then 26% organizations not doing it because the online behavior and personalization opportunities are just not taken advantage of. So data presents a barrier, but also a huge opportunity. And I'm going to quickly now walk through three core parts of the data strategy which should be in place for any business, indeed for any banks, because let's face it, you're sitting on a huge amount of really valuable customer data that may well be untapped. So the first stage is collect. We need to bring all this data together: registration data, interaction data, transaction data, campaign-based data, and collect it all into one place. The second part is to consolidate it. Bring together your primary data and third-party data and bring in some real-time updates. Of course, as your customers are out there spending money, as they are using digital channels, whether it's searching, hitting your website, going onto YouTube channels, watching videos, using other forms of social media, they're giving away a real-time set of signals, really valuable signals, which you can use to understand their needs. And this is really important. If we know when they are in the mindset and they need a product, a loan, a credit card, some other financial services product, if we know when they need the product, we can send a highly targeted message at the right time in the right place. And then finally, we need to capture value from all this data. We need to make sure our BIU and our BA teams are working together and being involved in the optimization of the experience for the customer in order to unlock the maximum lifetime value for that customer. And often what we see is businesses are very good at the first bit, collecting all this data, consolidating it, but they're not very good at setting rules and improving that part. Now, we'll come on a little later to talk about AI and machine learning and how they can be using AI and machine learning in order to do that last part, that decision-making part. So let's just look at these in turn. First of all, collect. The key message for you here, and in all the workshops that we run with banks around the world, this is a fundamental start point. We've got to think about our customers in terms of not just who they are, but what they want and what's their behavior. We're doing some work right now for a bank in Saudi Arabia, and we're showing them that you can understand that you may have a female customer living in Riyadh between 20 and 35, but that's only part of the story. What we want is the rich insights around what they really want. Are they searching for business loans? Do we know that they are traveling abroad and spending money abroad? What are they doing on our web pages and app behavior? Which parts of the site or the app are they using, and what are they doing on there? And finally, what expense patterns? What's their expenditure? When we know all this information, we have a much better understanding of our customer. Step 2, consolidating data. Well, you know what? The digital age is fantastic for capturing and using data. We can see everything on the left, what search terms they're using, what emails they're using, what site traffic, what app sessions, what registration data. If we can bring this into a single data warehouse and get a single customer view, we can then extract insights in order to set certain business rules which allow us to present an ever more customized and personalized experience, which increases engagement, conversion, and loyalty. And then the third step, capturing value. Well, I won't read every word on this slide. In our workshops, we go into a lot more detail on this. But broadly, we need to analyze all of the data we're capturing. We need to look at the sorts of customers we're engaging with and find lookalike customers. We need to optimize the experience. We shouldn't be presenting all of our customers with the same web experience. We should be customizing. So people with a desire for certain products and services, whether they're retail customers, they are business customers, or they are maybe a combination of both, they get the relevant pages and the relevant content, which helps us drive better engagement, better views, and also be far more efficient with our marketing budgets driving traffic. And then the third part, personalization. We need to be personalizing from a brand point of view on our website. We need to be looking at lifecycle communication and lifecycle management on our website journeys, and also event-based automated experiences and communication around particular events in their financial journey in order to provide the right information when they are buying their first home, when they are saving for their children's weddings, when they are looking for their retirement and their succession. We need event-based communication as well. So that's the data part. And of course, there's a vast amount every bank can do to improve its data performance. The second part is automation through AI and machine learning. Now, there's an awful lot written about this. I subscribe to The Economist magazine. I have a copy of The Economist right here. And in this article, I can see about AI and machine learning. There are some interesting questions. Is this hype? Is this a fad, a trend, or is it indeed something longer lasting? Now, you don't have to look too far to see that automation is capable of doing a lot of the low skill, highly repetitive tasks, which may at the moment be costing you and your bank a lot of money. Indeed, this article here predicts that 35% of low-skilled jobs may well be taken out by 2022. This article was written in 2017, and we're seeing more and more roles and more jobs being automated, thanks to a chatbot, for example, instead of driving people through to a call center, which can radically reduce your cost base. I do a lot of work with Google, and this is a quote from their chief exec, Sundar Pichai. Machine learning is a core transformative way by which we're rethinking how we're doing everything. If you work at Google and you put a business case for a new product idea, and there are, I think, 30,000 products being put through the Google business at any one time. If your business case does not include a component of AI, it will not be signed off. AI needs to drive in, and within AI, let's be clear that we're talking not just about some version of intelligence that a machine can replicate, but more we're looking at the tool within the AI framework, machine learning, which enables the AI process to take place. So this is machine learning, teaching machines to do stuff, which allows them dynamically to ever get more intelligent and therefore to conduct more and more activities that humans once did but don't need to do. And there was the famous case where DeepMind, the Google division, developed a solution using computers to beat a human being playing the Go game. You may be familiar with this ancient game, Chinese game. So the capabilities of AI are really quite extreme. But let's just remember that we can't bring in any real judgment here, any savoir-faire kind of common sense check, we're simply teaching machines to do stuff which are based on recognition rather than on reasoning. So be clear about where AI and machine learning begin and end. So in terms of recognition and reasoning, there are two different things here. The reasoning bit AI can't do. The recognition and repeat actions based on patterns is where machine learning and therefore AI can be very good. The machine learning revolution is really predicated on three things. First of all, high quality data sets and lots of data. Lots of computing capacity. And of course, thanks to the cloud, we have the ability to process at scale huge amounts of data. And finally, some very powerful tools which allow us to do that processing ourselves. And there are off-the-shelf tools that we can be using, a number of these provided by Google, by Microsoft, by Amazon in their respective cloud-based Azure or AWS operating cloud platforms. What you can do with machine learning is clever. And I talked earlier about some of the patterns and the recognition areas where machine learning has proven to be very effective. We talk about driverless cars. We talk about robotics in the pharmacy and healthcare industry. As it relates to banking, so far, a lot of this has involved understanding how customers are behaving and predicting and then acting on those behaviors. So we know, for example, if we have a customer coming through our website at the awareness, evaluation, purchase, loyalty phases, and they abandon a basket at the do phase, they don't complete a transaction, they may use a calculator, a loan calculator, but not buy the loan, machine learning can flag up immediately who those people are, and then we can retarget them with a message. I do a lot of work in e-commerce. There's clear evidence that if someone abandons a basket and you send them 1, 2, or 3 emails within 24 hours, there is a significant increase in conversion. So if we detect these events, we can then come in with an action in order to get them to complete the task and therefore become more valuable customers. It's very good, and this is an example from IBM, at automating marketing communications, in this case, email. So we can use a product like Silverpop, IBM Silverpop, in order to automate and improve performance of our emails. 70% higher open rate, 152% higher click-through rate, 133% higher message relevancy. Relevance and personalization, very important, and automation allows us to do that. Here's an excellent example. This is a food delivery company. It's been in the news recently, worth, I believe, $1 billion now. They deliver food. Now, they use machine learning very effectively in order to monitor the 500,000 emails they get every week from customers. Most of their emails say things like this: Ocado, I love your website. I've got children, so it's easier for me to do the shopping online. Thanks for saving me time. Using keyword analysis, what Avado can do is see all of the different messages which are positive, and then if some of those messages are negative, the delivery person was late, the food was not fresh, the order was not complete. Those messages, based on the keywords in the email body text, are then prioritized. Those customers get an immediate response within 2 hours. The others can get a response within 24 hours. So using keyword search in order to identify certain patterns allows machine learning to improve the performance of the customer service people and to tackle the most urgent problems first, rather than treat them all the same. So there's a retail example. What about financial services? Well, I'm just going to end with a couple of examples and take those from this list. So this is a list of use cases that we like to share with clients around what is an effective use of machine learning AI across the different sectors in which we work. And you can see for yourself: risk analysis and regulation, customer segmentation, cross-selling and upselling, sales and marketing campaign management, credit worthiness evaluation. Let's look at a couple of examples. This one is from OCBC in Singapore. They're using Know Your Customer process in order to identify and verify a client's credentials, and then to assess whether they are, what their credit worthiness is, to access and then share this information across their existing network, and share this information with other banks using cryptography, developing efficiency and security when collecting, validating, and sharing this data, and streamlining their auditing and regulatory reporting process. So at the beginning of the journey, KYC, they are very powerful there, using blockchain and using machine learning in order to capture and verify data. We now have existing customers on board. What services do we offer them? How do we upsell and cross-sell? Here's an example from Barclays. Understanding the customer allows Barclays to select which of the products in their set they're going to offer their customer, and then to offer them the relevant service, product or service. And as you can see on the right-hand side, having moved to loan, we then come down here, and the offer is provided only to the customers with the right credit profile. Not everyone can apply for a Barclays loan. See their personalized loan rate or provisional loan limit online within the app. This is because certain restrictions apply. So Barclays, once they've acquired a customer, upselling, cross-selling based on the profile of that customer. So this is very positive. And then reducing the cost of churn. This is a really important area. We need to make sure we're maximizing the value of our user base and not losing any customers. In this case, we can use AI and machine learning to retrospectively analyze what engagements we've had with our customers, and then set rules for the sorts of marketing we're sending, and then assess the optimum number of engagements, of interactions, the channels which are most valuable, and then to look at some differences between different actions and build a hypothesis around the combinations of interactions which lead to a positive or a less positive outcome in terms of product and service usage. Could be around the balance, could be around applying for different products. So at the end of it, I would urge you to think that the technology is out there. You can do a lot of very smart things here, but just be clear that a lot of the investment in AI and machine learning has been based purely on the pattern and recognition information, from which stem insights that you can then make some clever decisions. AI, machine learning are not the answer to every problem. We urge you to focus very clearly on your people, your most valuable asset. Make sure you're expanding their knowledge and capabilities, building new product and service innovation around insights from your customers, and finally, expand your analysis. Be tracking huge amounts of data, build your hypothesis around what's the optimum product mix for each individual customer, and develop an experimental mindset. We offer a large number of online and face-to-face workshops around digital banking, around data-driven marketing, around AI, machine learning, and a whole load of other programs. We'd love to reconnect with our friends in Pakistan. Please feel free to make contact when you can. I'll leave that up on the screen. I wish you all the best with the day tomorrow for the organizers of this event, and look forward to connecting with you in due course. In the meantime, please keep safe, and I wish you an enjoyable digital banking future. Please get in contact if there's anything we can do to help. And with that, Salam alaikum, thank you, and goodbye for now.